So the result at the end is basically a feed with thousands and thousands of liquid priced betting markets that can be utilized by any kind of application or website that like plugs into Azuro and uses that feed to present it like to people who are interested to bet. These applications can provide players with a really viable but trustless and decentralized alternative to what they can get with current traditional online betting operators.
Okay, understand. And I see that you recently integrated with Bookmaker, right?
Yeah, we've had the first. So I hope it kind of became clear. So Azuro is essentially we call it a base layer, or you could look at it as a kind of like B2B, a decentralized betting protocol. So on Azuro, the betting markets are created, priced, and made liquid. But Azure itself is not a betting platform, right? So it does not provide the environment where people just go and like bet. Let's say this happens actually on the front end applications for websites. So the first such application has actually started utilizing Azure solution, and that application is called bookmaker.xyz. So, and that's also the website, so bookmaker.xyz. And there already, people can place bets on the Azure smart contracts.
Okay, understand. So before I jump to the second part of today's call, Grace, could you give the first round of rewards in the channel?
Sure. Give me a few
Thank you.
minutes. Yes, so I will send the price information to the premium reward channel. And for all the Solv voucher holders, you can click on our premium reward channel and tap on the flower in the channel to enter this raffle. And before the panel end, I will also give another reward in the reward channel. So for all the dream panel participants.
Thank you, Grace. So the second part, I just have some questions that raised based on your guys' answers. Connor, we lost you just now for a sec. Could you elaborate a bit more on how poker game works? While we're waiting for Connor, Rosen, I have a question for you because you said we are not really a platform for gaming, but it's, at some level it involves gambling. So do you ever come across there's some regulatory hindrance when you are rolling out your whole plan?
Yeah, great question. So, gambling in general worldwide is really fragmented, by a regulatory framework, so there's many countries where gambling is regulated and there's specific rules in these particular countries, and there's many countries where gambling is not regulated or let's say very, very vaguely regulated. Now, that approach in most countries is really towards, the delivery of a gambling service in the traditional way, where you have basically a company. This company, provides a gambling service to its users, and it is a custodian of their funds. So it takes their money and then promises to pay them out when they make bets on that platform, etc., etc. So that gambling company essentially is the betting operator, and they do everything, right? So they deal with the risk, with the odds, they take custody of people's money, operations, marketing, all of it, right? Azuro's approach is really unique. Azuro is open source code, which essentially is a set of smart contracts written in Solidity, which supports an ecosystem of independent participants which work together to create a feed with priced and liquid betting markets. So, and none of these participants takes custody of bettors' funds. It's all on chain through the smart contracts. So I would say decentralized betting really is already much different than centralized betting. And like it comes in different shapes, and Azuro's basically approach is maybe the most sophisticated form that we've seen to date, with roles of different participants broken down several times. So currently, we do not believe this falls into the existing regulatory frameworks for gambling and betting. At the same time, though, of course, betting is regulated in many countries, and many countries want to, like control, let's say, that activity in some shape or form. So we believe that over time, regulation will adjust to how generally Web3 works, and crypto works. And of course, to solutions such as Azure, where you have, like the liquidity provider being one participant, and the data providers being another participant, and the front end environment being the third participant, and kind of all of these working together in a trustless way. I assume like there's going to be innovative ways that this can be regulated in some shape or form, But particularly with regards to, Azure, again, being a set of smart contracts, right? Not a company, not a custodian, nothing of that shape and form. We do not see current regulation actually being applicable, and we have not had, approaches to date from any regulator.
Okay, understand. Thanks for the clarification. Hi, Connor, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know
Super.
if you can hear me.
Yeah. Now it's fine. Yeah, your voice is
Perfect.
perfect now. Yeah, I was just wanted to ask you how does poker game work? Could you elaborate on that because we lost you there just now. Yeah, it would be the best.
Yeah,
if
I'm
you-
not sure. I'm not sure at what point my microphone went off on that one. So yeah, we're a fully play to earn poker platform on Unreal 5. So basically, what you're doing is you're not playing with the chips you're playing with have no value. You cannot sell them. You're not actually gambling. You're playing to win tournaments. You're playing to win with better hands, and with that, you're collecting keys which will open chests to unlock more NFTs on that. So we're more a fully immersive gaming experience. It's on Unreal Engine 5, so the graphics are, not really like any other poker platform. But we are non-gambling. So obviously, just going back to your question that on the regulatory stuff, trying to prove that a poker platform is non-gambling is not actually that simple, especially in some jurisdictions such as the US. But we've created something special. We created something fun. It's great for gamers. It's great for people who are crypto enthusiasts and also poker players. So we think we've got something that's really interesting for the community.
Okay, cool. And how does the PKR token work? And I also saw that players or the PKR owners now can stake the tokens, right?
Yeah, so we've had staking on Ethereum since September. We introduced staking also on Binance Smart Chain around December or so. So we just got that. I think it's around 20% APY on Ethereum and 16% on Binance Smart Chain right now. But there are a lot of other uses for the token as well. So we're going to have the PKR Pass, which will bring you 5 different tiers of the play to earn level. They will all be purchasable only with PKR. If you wanted to purchase more play chips to play, also with PKR. So the whole economy that's running on the game is also using the token. We want to ensure that there are buyback and burns. We have no mint capacity. It's a non-inflationary token. So we want to ensure that basically the whole economy of the game is run on PKR. But once you're within the game, you're running on the NFT Unreal experience.
Okay, and where can people get the PKR token?
I mean, PKR is it's available on Uniswap and PancakeSwap, but also on Bittrex, on MEXC, on Bitmart, and on Who as well. So if people are unfamiliar with decentralized exchanges, it's easy for people to get a hold of.
Okay, thank you. The next question for Rosen, I want to ask. You said before people can build with the Russo, and what is your current like go-to-market strategy now? Like during this bearish market, what is your current strategy?
Yeah, well, I mean, uh, it said Azuro is that layer which can support multiple different applications, front end applications. So basically, your betting app or website. So anybody can plug into Azuro. There is a very kind of basic SDK already, but there will be a better SDK soon as well. So currently, there is one application that's Bookmaker XYZ utilizing Azuro, but essentially go to market for Azuro in general is through these applications, right? So we would hope that obviously the first one does well, and that others basically decide to to utilize the priced liquid betting markets that Azuro has, and just like give the front end user experience and specialize in what they do, right? So it could be an influencer, right? So somebody who has reach, like be it in sports or esports or somewhere else, that wants to run their own application. That would be quite easy for them, and obviously if they have reach, then that will be a great kind of business for such a party. Or we've had actually already people contact us that try to do peer-to-peer prediction markets, but these are usually quite ineffective, especially for sports, where there's thousands upon thousands of betting markets that you need to have at any point in time, because there are so many events and so many underlying markets. But peer-to-peer prediction markets really cannot support so many markets. There's no liquidity. These are not being created, by people. So actually, we've had some projects that have tried to do something like that in the past, but already being interested to start with Azuro. So go to market for Azuro really is through the applications that utilize Azuro to build that front end user experience on top.
Okay. Thank you for the answer. And my next question is similar, but it's nuanced to it. So, Connor, I understand that business is a bit different than what Aruzo does. And you guys focus a little more on the players, right? You need to have a good amount of players who come on board to play the poker game. I would like to ask you, what is your current marketing strategy during this bearish market? And how many users you currently have? Are you speaking? Hello, Grace. Can you hear Connor, or is it just me?
I can hear Brian. I think maybe I'll ask Connor to rejoin us again.
Okay, thanks.
Hi,
Uh,
Connor.
Sorry about this. I
Okay.
haven't what's going on with my microphones today.
Hello, Corner. Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. Did you catch my last question for you?
Yeah, I don't know whether you got any of my answer or not.
No. We didn't hear
No.
you at all.
Yeah, just on that, it's, this is the time that we focus, 85% of our efforts just on development right now. We've got our moderation team, we've got customer service. If people are asking questions on our community, we're there to answer. But most of our time is, we're putting a lot more effort into development than we are putting into actually, speaking to influencers, bringing more people in. So, when the market picks up, it doesn't matter if that's 6 months, 18 months, 24 months. We want to make sure that at that point, we're still ready. We have the game to go. And, we've actually built something that's, working and impressive. Yeah, I would say that, it's not the right time for marketing right now. But, development is going on strong.
And how many users, players that you have?
So we're in early access. So we had an initial 500 players. We've invited 250 more. And then anyone who wants to join, if you send a message via Telegram, Discord, our moderation team will get you an early access key and be able to create you an account to get in as well.
Okay, cool. And I saw that on your website that the roadmap. I think by the end of this year, you're going to have your mobile applications, right? Could you tell us
Yeah.
of your development? How did that go? And
So I think our biggest demographic is going to be mobile. So we want to make sure that we have Android and iOS going. I do believe at the moment, I think it was more likely to be Q1 or Q2 next year. Just going to revise the roadmap a little bit. We want to make sure that the mobile game, is, when you play it, it's impressive. It's not just good. That once you open it, you don't want to put it down. So we probably will push that back to next year at this point. But yeah, we are building on Android and iOS, and we're really looking forward to getting that out there.
Okay, cool. And I heard from some of the projects when they are trying to launch an application on iOS, they encountered many issues to get it approved because when it mentions or contains an NFT, sometimes iOS have a problem with that. Do you foresee this kind of risks for launching your application?
Yeah, the due diligence process from their side, it's Android is super easy to get on the Play Store, but for iOS, they're checking everything, and it's understandable to some extent. But of course, being a non-gambling poker platform, I understand that when people look at it, it's like, okay, how does that work? Surely you are either gambling if you're poker or you're not poker. So it's going to be a longer process, but we do have all of the legal documentation for the US, for EU, and also for Asian markets. So I do believe that it shouldn't be too much of an issue for us.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the answer. Next question, for Rosen. Like since now we see there is increasing needs and there's it's a lot of things happening with gambling and betting and Web3. Could you tell us a bit more of the future of the Web3 gambling? How big is the market and what we can look forward to?
Yeah, so we think about it in two ways. The first one is betting globally is absolutely huge. So more than half of the adult population of the world have placed bets like in their lifetime on sporting events, and it is an absolutely massive industry worldwide. And it really kind of is seen as an intrinsic part of the love, of humanity for sports. It just increases the engagement, when you're watching sports. So in one way, I think traditional betting, although being huge, is really plagued by a couple of issues. Centralized betting. So by having essentially these betting operators handling everything, right? Players' money, the odds, the liquidity, all of that, you basically have huge companies that are profit maximizing organizations versus essentially the little guy who's the player, and that leads to lack of trust, lack of transparency, and very often lack of fairness, because the profit for the betting operator is essentially the loss of the player. And in many occasions, this leads to like unfair treatment and opaque environments being created by betting operators for for the players. So we believe decentralized betting, if done the right way, really can solve for this, and we do believe that Azuro is the right way, meaning that it can decentralized betting can match the user experience of centralized betting. It can also add some niceties to it, but also it by doing that it also solves the problem with trust and transparency, right? Because everything is smart contracts, everything is auditable, visible. No one is taking custody of players' funds, so basically players cannot risk declined payouts or extensive KYC checks just to make them not get their money or pay out as early as they could, etc., etc. So all these kind of treatments that sometimes happen to players in the centralized world. So in that regard, it is absolutely massive, right? So if Azuro succeeds to deal with the liquidity problems, and the user experience, which we totally believe it will, then you have a real alternative, to centralized betting that, however, is non-custodial and trustless, which we think is a big improvement. So in that regard, it is huge. But then even beyond that, we believe that there is a really emergent, obviously, economy with absolutely novel use cases, like within Web3, which do not exist in the traditional world, right? And one of the things that we are seeing is obviously the financialization of games, right? So Axie being the first big example, probably, but many other games coming, and being developed. But even if we take that segment, like blockchain gaming, we believe that that betting will play a part within blockchain gaming and other aspects of like the blockchain environment through the financialization of such games. So. For example, just because it's so easy and everything kind of being so composable, like you have your MetaMask and this is how you connect to the game, let's say, and you earn money, let's say, through play to earn in the game, etc. You could have a betting overlay with the games you're playing. So imagine like you're having the next battle and you can already bet on yourself, or like versus the other team, etc., etc. Or like you could have guilds versus guilds, or teams versus teams, etc. All of that financialization is really readily available, in Web3 and crypto, and we think that particularly for blockchain gaming, betting will play a very very key part for blockchain games to succeed, because one, it increases engagement and supports the development of a player base and the fan base as well. Which is extremely important for any game. Like if you have people that are fans of the game, then you can monetize and the game can survive. And secondly, also betting can be even kind of like an economic sink for the models within blockchain games, where we've seen that they struggle after the initial kind of boom of the game, and people come in and start playing, start farming. The game economy then struggles after that, like to become sustainable. And we do believe that additional engagement in the forms of betting can really help in that regard, and help games become more engaging for the fan base, and also to help the kind of financial environments of the games and make them sustainable.
Cool. Thanks for the answer. And how do you think like Solv Protocol with the ERC-3525 token standard can help with your project?
So I'll give you an example about something which exists in the current centralized betting world. It doesn't really kind of exist in decentralized betting, but we are planning to do it with Azuro, and I think for that particular use case, actually, there's a use case for what you guys have done. So bets on Azuro are essentially non-fungible. So one of the really popular things that people can do in traditional betting is like they can place a bet on a game, let's say, and this game is gonna play, for example, on Sunday this week. But maybe something changes, like they need their money back, or they change their mind, or maybe some player got injured that the person loves, and they want to get out of that bet, right? So in these cases, it is actually called a cash out. In these cases, the betting operator would give a particular price to the player, at which price they are happy to buy that bet back from the player, right? So the player has the bet, the game hasn't actually played yet, and the player decides to get out, and basically the bookie in this case gives them a price, and they can sell their bet back to the bookie. So with Azure actually and NFT bets, this will be possible through a decentralized marketplace, right? So people place bets, they can mint these bets as NFTs, and then if they want to exit the bet, before the event has happened, then they could sell this bet to other players. So one thing that actually what you guys have done with a splittable or fractionalized NFTs, I think is really cool, because in that way you can fractionalize bets, right? So maybe a person wants to realize already some profit because the odds have moved on the bet and they're already in profit, and they want to sell a bit of it, but not all of it, right? Not the whole bet. Or vice versa, right? Maybe they want to exit the bet just generally, but not the whole bet, but parts of it. So I think that would be an interesting one, and maybe there will be others. Like imagine, for example, we've also thought like in betting communities, the most shareable form of content is, for example, some crazy bets, like, I don't know, somebody placed a bet on 20 events and they guessed everything right and they won a ton of money. Or maybe somebody placed a really weird bet on a super popular event, like, I don't know, if you guys know soccer, for example, there was this super famous goal by Maradona, which he scored with a hand, and everybody knows this is the hand of God goal. So, like, imagine if somebody had a bet on that game, or particularly that Maradona scores, etc. That has like some cultural significance, right? So this could even be collectibles, right? The type of things that you could trade on OpenSea, or like just as general NFT. So fractionalizing this, I think, is also interesting. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. So for Corner, there's some question for you. How do you think that you can adopt Solv Protocol's voucher solution? For this time, well, I think everybody already know that both projects will be issuing their dream vouchers as a reward. But other than that, Corner, what do you think? Corner, we cannot hear you. Maybe it's better that you exit and join again. Just a heads up. After Corner give us the answer, if you guys have any questions, please just raise your hand, and Grace will select a few people for questions later.
Yeah, and I've just sent another price information to our reward channel. So for all the Dream Panel participants, you can just click on our reward channel and tap on the flower in the channel to enter this raffle, and this raffle will begin in 30 minutes.
Thanks, Grace, for the heads up. While we're waiting for a corner, Grace, could you just pick one of the audience who raised their hands and let us hear their questions?
Sure. Bernard, can you hear us again?
Let's see. Yeah, I can hear you, but I don't know if you can hear me then.
We didn't actually catch anything you said just now. Could you did you hear my question?
Yeah, no, regarding Solv.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a few ways that we're really interested to implement this. Firstly, sort of as community fundraising, allowing options for instead of institutional investors to get into vesting contracts through private sales and seed, but allowing people to sort of buy OTC and using the vesting vouchers to allow people to get in, but can be on any level, whether they want to get in with $5 or whether they want to use 5,000. Just something a bit more accessible instead of limiting it to the bigger players in the space. And then also the fractionalized stuff, I think, is something that regarding the actual game is something that it's not been what we've looked at, but it's definitely something that on a play to earn level, between player versus player, having the fractionalized options with NFTs is something different that I actually believe would work well for our game. So I think there's a lot of versatility that you're offering. So starting with something like as a vesting voucher that's available for the community as an OTC level, and then having a look what else can be done with the protocol is something that definitely Poker would be interested in looking at.
Cool. Yeah, we're looking forward to working with Poker Game after this event. So I saw like Grace just picked one audience to ask the questions.
Hey, Shayaki, can you hear us?
Yeah, you can just unmute and ask your question to our guest. Yeah, Grace, I think he doesn't know how to unmute himself. Could you pick another audience who may have a question?
Sure. So for the audience who have questions to our guests, maybe you can just raise your hand and I will invite you to the stage. Okay, I see one named XOXO from the community.
Hello.
Hey.
We can hear you. Yeah.
You can my voice.
Yeah. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay. In my opinion, achievements are very important for community. And my question is, what are the major milestones Solv Protocol has achieved so far? Thank you.
Oh, this is the question for us, right? For Solv Protocol. Yeah, right. Is the question for us?
What are
Is
the
this a
major
question for? Is this a
what
question
are
for Solv Protocol?
this for Solv Protocol? What are the
Okay.
major milestones Solv
Um.
Protocol has achieved so far?
Okay, okay. So as Solv Protocol, the inception of the product is the vesting voucher. And after we have been working with 45 plus different projects issuing vouchers, recently we also launched a new product called Bound Voucher. Bound Voucher we raised with four projects. We helped them to raise around 16 million with projects such as Izumi Finance, Perpetual Protocol. How bound voucher works is a project will issue their bound vouchers on Solv, and they will raise stable coins. And by maturity, the project will pay back the stable coins plus the interest to the people that purchased their bonds. So far, as you can see, not only we have issued those different products and help different projects to raise funds. During this bearish market, we're also working towards the goal to get listed on top exchanges. I think there will be some big news soon coming out. Just stay tuned. And also during this bearish market, we're working adding more community members. That's why we are organizing this event on every Tuesday. And also on every Thursday, we will have an exclusive community call. If you are really interested in getting to know more about Solv, you can also join that event. So they will be having a more exclusive updates on a weekly basis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you
Yeah.
for your answer.
No problem. Grace, do you see anybody raising their hand?
Not yet.
Okay, okay. So I think this is for today. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Corner. Thank you, Rosen, for joining the event. So if any of you have questions, please join their Discord or Twitter, and then they will get just ask any questions in our guest speakers channel. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Thank you for joining the event today, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Connor.
Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Thank